And good evening, everybody. This is Quuxum once again. I've had to move back into my kitchen because there was a little bit of mist outside, and unfortunately, my document camera, which you saw was giving me trouble earlier, has just decided to nope out on me. So we're only going to use the laptop. Hopefully, that's not a big deal. And here it comes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the kitchen of the Skunks and Lynx Works. The Maine Coon is right outside. That would be River Sorge Cat, of course, whom you'll be seeing tomorrow morning with her coffee stream. But for right now, we have peppers. So I took these off the toaster oven at about 10 after 8 tonight and let them cool down. And they are, in fact, nice and crisp. I'm going to angle this down a bit. And here they are. Nice and crispy, crackly, crunchy. But they've also retained that beautiful deep red color that I really love in a hot pepper. That's the reason. That's one of the big reasons why I kept the toaster oven at 200 or lower throughout the entire process. If I go a bit above that, I've done this at like 225, 250, these will go brown, which is not bad. They have a different flavor after that, but it doesn't look the same. In fact, I can show you, because I'm literally right next to the spice cabinet. This is the jar of Hinkle Hots that I made back in 2008. And as you can see, comparison, it's kind of brown. Or, I'm sorry, did I say 2008? I meant 2018. It's been a long day. Now, as you can tell here, this is the Hinkle Hots that I made last year. You can see I don't go through a lot of it, and it is a little less brown. And this year, hopefully, we're going to be at a... Yeah, I screwed up the year. It was 2018 and 2019. Yeah. I was still living in Trafford in 2008. But yeah, that was the 2018 and the 2019, and now I have the 2020. So, lower temperature maintains the color very nicely. So, what do we do with these? Well, you could leave these as they are. You don't have to do anything else with them except put them in a container that's fairly airtight so they don't reabsorb any moisture from the air. In fact, you could snack on them. There's a nice one right there. Nice and crunchy. And ooh, there's the heat. Mmm. Wow. Whew. That is sufficient. Not as much as a ghost pepper, but it is definitely quite hot. But on the back end, once the heat goes away, once the heat goes away, because the heat's now hit the back of my throat, but the flavor actually comes through. And the flavor is kind of reminiscent to like green beans, strangely enough. And it's very pleasant flavored, a little bit of tang to it, but that sort of caramelization I was telling you earlier, that seems to have happened as well. So yeah, whew, that hit the back of my throat at a weird angle. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, box. About 5 to 30,000 Scoville. Now, after the drying, they've reduced a bit. I would say these are maybe about 2,000 or so. I kind of need a drink at this point. You'll excuse me one moment. I won't tell you what I'm drinking because it's Twitch and they're a little funny about alcohol, but suffice to say, it's in a WPAFW glass and it's from a local establishment. That's all I'm gonna say. Cheers. Is that establishment Wiggly? Good question. The answer is I don't think they would consider themselves Wiggly. That took me a moment to get what you were saying. No. But they are up in Lawrenceville. All right. Here's what I'm going to do, though, with all of these. Ta-da! The mortar and pestle. Beautiful, wonderful mortar and pestle, which I did wash out sufficiently. At least I think I washed it out sufficiently earlier. Because the last several times it's been used for coffee beans. Yes. I'm going to start by just a few of them. Not all of them, because that'll make it too difficult. So I've got a few of these in here. So the first thing to do, tamp them down. By tamping them down, you can already see how nicely broken up they are. And then you just sort of roll them around. And that grinds them very, very fine. Now, I still got a couple seeds that came in with these. They're not going to cause too much of a problem. You know what I forgot to do? I was so worried about my throat that I forgot to put my mask back on. Because that's one of the things that's happening right now is that there is a risk of this, going airborne. Especially now that's why I had the document camera so I didn't have to do this all the time. It's nice and powdery. You just have to roll it around in there. All right, can add a few more now. Tamp them down. Yeah, one escaped. It died a noble death. Ten out of 10 would season with. Yes, that is correct, and that is exactly what I do with it. The smell of it now, right now. You'll excuse me. My my tablet just went out, so I don't have the chat anymore. My apologies. Something comes up in the chat, well, I won't be able to see it immediately. Unless, of course, a cooperative Sorge Cat would be willing to go on to @WPAFW on Twitter, or not Twitter, on Twitch, and have a look at the chat.
I think I've been summoned.
I have indeed summoned the Sorge Cat. Now, you saw how many peppers I put it in at the beginning of this.
It is I, the Surge Cat. Ta-da!
All right, so would you load up Twitch and go into the chat for @WPAFW, and if questions come in, just let me know. And
It says it's offline though.
at WPAFW,
Yes.
hit the chat button.
There's a French cat joke to be made here.
Technical difficulties is the name of the day today. I'm going to blame Skuro. Oh well. Let's add a few more. Because @WPAFW should be hosting me right now.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. Nice and fine. We're almost done. Now, all those, as I was saying before, out of all of those peppers, that's how much we were getting out of this. It doesn't look like much. Luckily, we don't need that much for this type. But yeah, if you wanted to use these, yeah, you could just drop like 1 or 2 of these into a stew or a curry, something in the crock pot. And that's going to be enough. More than enough, usually, if you have 2 of them. 3 if you're, mildly masochistic. Oh, wait, this is the furry fandom. There is no mildly masochistic. Alright, only about 2 more rounds of adding these dried peppers. And then we will be done with the grinding. What I'm also doing here is pushing them up onto the sides of the mortar.
Damon wants to know if the powdered version in small amounts is okay for people who prefer mild spice.
There, for this cultivar, the Hinklehots, I would say yes. Hold on, I think my mic might be too loud. There, how's that? I would say yes. A little bit will go a long way if you have even just a little spice tolerance. But if you wanted to build up your spice tolerance, it's a good way to do that too. Let's finish this off. Just the last bits in here. I also use this in pasta sauces. This makes a really nice arrabbiata. Nice spicy pasta sauce. You can even put some in pizza sauce and give your pizza some kick in it too. Grinding this a little bit fine. So you see the method that I'm doing here is pushing it up against the side and using the side to grind it even further. Any other interesting messages?
Somebody's asking what type of peppers did you grind for this?
This is called the Hinklehots pepper, and you know how to spell that, right? Hotz. So lots, very fine powder that is stuck here to the pestle. Oh, it's so tempting to want to lick the pestle. So very tempting. Mmm. Mmm. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That is perfect.
Malin wants to know if you can roast pretty much any pepper variety like this.
I would say most of the capsicum annuums you could roast in this manner. Even just bell peppers you could do that, but they don't really turn out as a good spice per se. You do want to use some of the hotter varieties, the Anaheims, the Cayennes, the Hinklehots. It's a whole slew of different Anahim varieties. You could do the Chinense varieties, but be prepared to smoke yourself out because those tend to be a lot hotter. Those being your ghost pepper and your Trinidad Reaper and your Trinidad Scorpion and Carolina Reaper. In theory, Pepper X, I think, is of that species as well, although that's not an officially recognized pepper yet, despite what Ed Curry says and what he has marketed. Some of you have probably are. If you watch The Last Dab, you will have seen Pepper X in action. I have had The Last Dab as well, and oh man, that's well beyond my capabilities. I have put like a tiny drop of that in like an entire bowl of soup and have been hurting. And this is like a like a cheese soup as well, and it's like, burns, burns, it burns. Flames, flames, side of my face, heaving breaths. Yes, you will go complete Madeline Kahn over that stuff.
Lo-Fi Snap Pop says, me and my roommate bought The Last Dab.
And lo-fi Snap Pop. Yeah, how did you like the Last Dab?
It's actually kind of good. Hot, but the taste is fine.
Yeah, they do tend to have very good tastes. Those that species of pepper. They also tend to have thousands and thousands, and if not hundreds of thousands of Scoville units behind them too. Well, it's time to actually store it. You can usually find these little jars that have the flip-top lids and the rubber gaskets around them, locking lids to keep them nice and keep it nice and dry. Water is your enemy here. Water vapor and air in general is your enemy here. One thing I've been thinking about doing, I didn't get any this in time for this stream, was to get some sesame seeds. Maybe pour some sesame seeds in here to help absorb some of the water more readily than let it go to the pepper itself. And also it keeps it from clumping, because you'll notice in the other two that I had out, they do clump over time. That's fine. That's just that tiny bit of moisture that causes that. That comes in through the air that causes it to clump. And usually you can just stir it with a toothpick or something, and then shake it up, pound it on the side, and it breaks up. No big deal. But funnel, jar, final step. Oh, please do not let me roll a 1 on my dex check here. Tilt this down. Drink for good luck. Tilt it right. Gotcha. If I were left-handed, this would be a lot easier. A little bit there. Shaking it out very, very, very gingerly. It's certainly not ginger. Got some on the rim. I got most of it off the rim and into the container. Yeah, unfortunately, I am right-handed, so I am pointing away from the camera, but I'm going to try to do it like this. There we go. There's a nice amount. Shake that out. I'd say we're about halfway done from what's in the mortar and pestle. This is what is in there right now. After all those peppers, that's what we end up with. It's kind of amazing just how much it reduces. Almost done here. Anything else in the chat? No. Okay. That's about it. There's still a little bit left here. Let's see if I can grab a rubber spatula. Can help me grab this a bit. I should be wearing my mask because, yeah, this is now completely powdered pepper, but, you know, I apologize. For those of you listening, I apologize. I should have muted my mic while I was putting this back on my shirt. It is not going back on my shirt. Damn you, sir, why did you have all the technical problems that have brought us back? Oh, well. So I'm going to push this powder into one little place inside the mortar. when it comes to mortar and pestle, I've always wondered. I've always thought this is the mortar and the handle is the pestle. Maybe I'm backwards. I don't know. I could be right. Could be wrong. Because you only ever hear the two, together as a single unit, as a mortar and pestle. There we go. That got a lot more out of the container part. And there we are. Lock it down. There it is. Hinklehots 2020. I'd say it might have been a bad year for all of us, but it was a good year for the peppers. All right. That brings the pepper stream to a happy and lovely end. We still have a couple more minutes. Any other questions in the chat?
No, no questions yet.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to call it an evening. I will see you tomorrow with the Surge Cat on the coffee stream. And I will also see you. And I'll also see you tomorrow evening at, I think it's 5 o'clock, for Jackbox games. We'll be playing, let's see, Quiplash 2, Split the Room, TKO, and Fibbage 3. And that will pretty much end the WPAFW festivities. After that is the closing ceremonies. So, for River Surge Cat, I am Quuxum the Fitida. Coming up next, we have the DJ streams. And I believe Socks also has a game stream as well. So, I believe on the Twitch channel it will be the DJ. So, thank you again. Love you. Stay safe. Hope to see you all next year. And hopefully sooner. Bye for now.